Hello Kickstarter backers, it's Andy from Iconic Studios and I'm joined today by Joe again. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so we're providing this month's update and I said it was going to be quite a big one. So there's going to be this video which is going to show some of the stuff you've seen already, but actually practically. And also we're going to introduce some of the new things that we're doing with the game. In addition to that, we're also producing for this month the next gameplay video, which you'll see in the update as well. And that will also be followed by the final assault phase video as well. So you're going to have quite a few videos coming your way. So this month, 2 videos, and then you'll see the other video following shortly after, okay? It's purely due to editing times. I will say, just to remind you guys, that this is a very small team. Okay, so when we produce anything that's like a video like this, it means that one, due to the nature of us being all over the place and how things are a bit difficult at the moment in the world, it means that we've got to get everything to sort of one location. And in addition to that as well, it basically means that, like myself, has to take a day or two away from the game, essentially, and changes and testing and things like that, to do a video and edit it for you. So I do just want to flag that to you, and we're going to put out a lot more video content with you because I've got some time to be able to do that now. Okay, so this one is going to be about card changes and things like that. There will be card, sort of details on the cards and elements of story. So if you were wanting to go into this blank, either watch it with the sound off or alternatively, skip to one of the sort of play videos, but most people will want to see these changes, so I just want to highlight that. Okay, so first change as we're going to go around, one of the biggest changes that people asked for, and that we'd already acknowledged even in previous videos, I think, that we were working on, was text size. Okay, and that has been a very big job, and I just want to show you something in comparison. So these here are personal story cards. This one here is the old story card that you will have previously seen for Colby Dixon in one of the earlier videos. The one on the left is the new content, and as you can see, what we've done there is we've edited some of the content so it actually fits in, it's sort of more smooth and more, sort of tight from a story perspective. But also we've wanted to make sure that everything that we did was produced in a way that was, visible and fit to our sort of parameters for the cards. And as you can see, they're a lot clearer to read. I mean, how are they looking to you through the viewfinder, Joe?
Much easier, not only through the viewfinder, but just in hand. I think last time we struggled to read, text was quite small, and I think we're so interested in what we're writing, we tried to cram a lot in, but actually, we've had a good read through of everything, changed a few bits, and not only is the text clearer, but the story's better as well, I feel.
Yeah, I think it has been a big job. I will say, just popping these down for a second, the rewrites for these cards have been really intense. I mean, essentially every character's got 11 cards for their personal story, and so that has meant rewrites for every single one of those cards for every character, including all the Kickstarter characters, and that's also in addition to other changes we've made. So also we've done the sort of an update to the generic location cards. So these you're going to see here. The one on the right is the original one that you will have seen in the previous videos, and the one on the left is the new design. And what you'll see with this is something that came about in testing and having people look at the cards. One of the things that was highlighted is that the titles for the stories were a little bit unnecessary. Although they were sort of cool, it sort of took away from imagination and people kind of setting their own scene. And it also meant that people, if they'd seen the card before, immediately identified what the name of the card was because of the title. So what we've done is we've removed those titles, and in addition to that, it also gives us more space for writing, allows us to, modify the text when needed. And I think they're a lot clearer as a result. We've still got the sort of style for the generic cards, but I do think, having the extra real estate on those cards has allowed a vast improvement. So very, very happy with that change as well. So moving on to the next one. Previously, you will have seen injury cards that look like this. Yet again, quite small text. You'll have also noticed originally we sort of had this very generic looking back, which in comparison to the rest of the game and its very sort of real world feel with the boxes and things like that you'll remember from like the item cards, you've got these cool box backgrounds. It means that it didn't really fit. So what we've decided to do is these have all been updated as well. So these now have a matching sort of injury theme that goes all the way through, highlighting where the injury is. And also we've increased the text size and the detailing, and you will see that we've made a point of consistency of using the icons throughout the text rather than referring to them in text form as well, and that consistency has been very important from us from a design perspective going forward. But flipping it over to the back, what you'll also see now is we have that more real world feel for the injury cards. So we have that sort of doctor's makeshift medical centre thing going on there, and I really think that they fit a lot more than this sort of generic kind of stock arty feel that the earlier ones have. So I'm much more happy with those. The people who've tested it and seen them have sort of approved of the changes and the things that as they've been going through. So very, very happy with how they've turned out. Let us know what you think in the comments. So we've got them. In addition to that, we've also, and we've talked about this previously, we've also updated the final endgame cards. So as you will see here, we've made a point of trying to use the space, sort of in a more positive way. And also, in addition to that, we've introduced this new symbol here. So this new symbol here is the group symbol. So the idea of that is if you've got 4 people playing, this would be a 4 plus 6. So that means you've got to get 10 successes. So this is quite a hard one, as you can see, in comparison to the random numbers. We've previously explained this in an update. This was due to scaling. So to make sure that the 1 to 3 player mode worked better, it means that obviously if you're playing as one but you've got a small amount of people making it through to the end, it made it a lot easier to scale with the group and then up to the 6 player mode as well. So it's only a small change, but I think the real estate on the cards is a lot better utilised, and I think you'll see these icons a lot more in the sort of final assault play video. Okay, so in addition to that, so you see how much has changed. There's been a lot of work going on in the background. So originally, enemy tiles, they were about 3 centimeters square. Was the original measurement for them. They have now been bumped up to 4 centimeters. So this is only a small amount. However, as you can see next to each other, the amount that you get there is so cool. It also means that you have a lot more space for that text. And for me, bearing in mind, the size of these, you're going to be seeing them from further away, not as close to a camera like this. It means that there's a lot more space to work with. So that's, really good for us. And I really think that it means you're not stood there sort of staring, very, very closely at the cards, trying to work out what's going on. So, in testing, that's something that we've improved dramatically. I would also like to briefly show you, since we've got stuff in front of us, that there is a lot more cool art that we can show you for the enemies now. So we've got like the guard that you'll recognise from the movie, obviously the human officer, we've seen him previously. We've got people like the invader paramedics. And then we've got some more fun out there characters which we've included, like the bounty hunter invader. So the idea that this is a character that sort of hunts you down and tries to get you, and I think it's cool that what we've tried to do is, because a lot of people were pushing for extra characters and more enemy types, and we've always wanted to do that, but the whole point is you're very limited with They Live, because there is how many people in the street can you do, how many cops with a gun can you do. So, we've got to the point where we've included things like paramedics and as I say, the odd crazy character like the bounty hunter or the invader private eye that sort of hunts you down and sort of flags different things. He's when he spawns near to players who have, sort of a high wanted rating. So that's really cool. When you're defeated, you you know, you'll lose that wanted rating. So there's some really interesting, you know, sort of dynamics with those characters. And then you've got like more interesting sort of boss characters as well, like the police captain. So, you know, we've worked very hard to make sure that where possible, there's as many interesting characters, you know, for you to experience as we go through. I will also just very briefly explain that this is the one of our test decks. So you'll notice that there aren't the little logos in either corner, because basically we stick them on to try them at different strengths and stuff like that before we finalise stuff. Okay, so we've got that. In addition to that then, we also just want to show you that previously obviously you had seen the character tiles looking like so. And now what you'll see is we now have the character standees. Now I think in the full game these are going to be a little bit shorter. This is just for our reference and playtest, and I think you'll probably be expecting him to stand about as tall as Nada's shoulders there. But as you can see, the detail on those is really, really cool, and they'll be double-sided and have, you know, all the nice look as everything else. And I would just like to quickly flick through some uncut versions of those so you can actually see that we've extended all the characters. You'll have seen these all next to each other, but there's nothing quite like seeing them in real life and the way that they sort of catch the light and things like that. And obviously there's Gil, our Kickstarter character there. Holly. You know, Frank. Battle Nada.
Battle Nada's my favourite.
He is your favourite. I'll say now that obviously when we hit that goal, we kind of unleashed the writer on this,
yeah,
and it's insane. I'm going to enjoy playing this campaign with this guy as much as humanly possible, and I'm sure you will too, because Nada's campaign sort of very much in the They Live universe, and very real and very, like, you know, serious. This campaign's very over the top an action movie, and it's the same with Demolition Frank as well. Frank, yeah. They're both insane, and I love both of them. So yeah, Demolition Frank and that super almost Street Fighter-esque stature, I love that. So yeah, the character's looking really cool in standee form, so we're glad we got to hit that sort of goal, really, to be able to extend these. But yeah, they're all looking really cool. Really, really like them, and I hope you guys will like them too. So yeah, those are the standees, so we've got that to show you. And one of the other changes that we've got is we have the character cards. This is a really simple, quite a small change. This is the original character card that you will have seen. Obviously blue backgrounds for the characters, and we've also got the sort of health icon over there in black. Okay, now one of the things that we found out in testing is people struggled with working out where damage and health was and how that worked, because obviously you take and receive damage tokens rather than sitting on a stack of tokens. So the changes that we made, and it's only a small change, but it helped massively, is players sort of engaged with it a lot more when we made the token green. So sort of understanding that your health is this, and the more damage tokens that you receive in addition to this, you know, hampers that maximum health. And obviously we use the reference image throughout the rest of the cards as we go through the game. I also like seeing the backgrounds on the character art. I really think it makes them pop. And as we're losing those backgrounds on the standees, it's nice to actually have them, you know, featured there. Okay, so it's not really a change, but more of an update. I'd like to show you some of the item cards that we've got and some of the changes that have been made regarding them on our test decks. So there's one hell of a deck there. Now you'll see that originally, when we had some of the cards that we originally showed, some of the characters that had simpler actions had, you know, very much a large blank space working the way through the card. So when it's an ally and it's related to that, what we've done is we've replaced this section here with a sort of a redacted case file. It fits in with the theme of the game, and also we do have sort of an idea where we could go with this redacted thing. If we decide to make an expansion or anything like that in the future. I will just say as well, special prizes for if you can work out who, you know, what the text is at the bottom of those. When you receive your cards, we may run something, because we've actually included something special within that redacted text. It'd be nice to see if somebody could work out where it's actually from. as we've not changed its original format. You can see we're trying wherever possible to use iconography from the film. Obviously, there's the quick scene where they pan through the camp and people are being fed, so we've decided to use that for our Soup Kitchen volunteer character. Load of you asked about it. Will it make it into the game? Yes, the infamous prop reuse did make it into the game.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, nothing to do with any film to do with hunting poltergeists, nothing to do with making you feel good. But yeah, that's made it into the game, obviously. And we've also tried to, where possible, include items that are very real world and fitting in that universe and that period of time. As you can see, items that don't have special actions will have this tax paid thing, which also features in with the aesthetic for the open for inspection kind of box tax import thing that we have going on. And you'll see, just working his way through the cards, we've got some very, very nice ideas and artwork there that people have really sort of related to as they've gone through. So you've got smaller items, and we've tried to, you know, keep scale wherever we can as well. So originally we were quite weapon heavy, and that was one of the things that we got pointed out quite early on. And as a result, what we've tried to do wherever possible is include more sort of physical items that would be era appropriate and have suitable sort of card art for them. So, so far, we're hoping you're quite happy with how these look. In addition to that, we've also got, I just put some to the back earlier, the special items for story rewards. So this is where you get a bit spoilery, okay? But as you can see from our previous videos where we had the sort of highlighted red sections, these tell you what to take out of your actual deck and separate for when you're actually going to play the game. So you'll get these specific story rewards as you complete your story rewards. And we've got some, you know, some really nice things in there, you know, that are very reference a lot of elements of the movie. So yeah, very, very yeah, and answers on a postcard for if you recognise the name of the dog. Right. So let us know what you think about the cards, the card art, and everything like that. I think it's something that, you know, we're very, very proud of, and I'd like to know what your feedback is on that. But one of our biggest changes now is actually going to be with the board, and we want to show you that. But we also want to ask you a couple of questions regarding it. So this here is the original board, which we'll have seen in the original gameplay videos, on the Kickstarter, everything like that. And we haven't massively overhauled it in the respect of, you know, it's a vastly different board or anything, but we want to show you sort of the update. And I just want you to pay attention to things like the stash piles that have sort of white sections on there, you know, sort of the level of detail and things like that. And now what we'll do is quickly cut to the new board. Right, and this is the new game testing board. So this is the board that people are testing it, are using at the moment, and there's a number of these. So I want to showcase just a few of the things that were pointed out by you guys and that we've sort of acted on. So first of all, like we said originally, we've now added the little pictures to the newspaper at the bottom corner. So that's now looking more fully detailed, and, you know, has a lot more information on there. Looks more like fitting and keeping with the newspaper sort of design that we've got down there. You'll notice a lot of the Polaroids are sort of more weathered and grimy looking, sort of fitting with the sort of theme, and that really comes through, which is great. Moving down to the bottom corner, you're going to see that the stash section, rather than having two white sections, actually looks like it's got sort of an indented, you know, almost sort of old school 1970s car or Atari dash kind of thing going on. So it looks like the cards actually sit in little slots rather than just sitting there. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask the community about this is to do with the discard pile. Okay, and how essential you guys personally think it is having the discard pile on the board. One of the things that we're currently toying with as sort of a last minute slight alteration is possibly having two stash piles. The main reason for this is you've seen how sort of bulky and big the sort of resource deck is, as it were, or the stash. So as a result, what we're considering is the possibility of splitting that over 2, which means when people buy from the resources, they get a choice of 2 piles. So there could be, things that we work in around that with future expansions and maybe poisoning the resource piles and stuff like that, but that's not something for this game. But the thing we're toying with is, does it stay as is? Do we have 2 piles for the resources like that, and then the discard becomes something that you manage off to the side? Or alternatively, do we look at edits to the board and extending that further along, meaning we'll need to move locations and edits to the board? This is sort of a larger question that we're sort of playing with at the moment. However, what we thought would be nice to do as we're filming it, rather than just taking that executive decision, to ask the sort of Kickstarter community what they actually think and what your preference would be. Do you want the discard pile on the board? Do you not want it on the board? Do you like the idea of two sort of piles of statues, so you've got a little bit of choice over which that you actually choose to select your cards from? Let us know what you think in the comments, or the comments on the Kickstarter as well. Both of those things will be really handy and sort of maybe influences one way or another in the ways that we're working through with this. After that then, one of the big things that we've actually done, and it might be a little bit hard to see on the camera here, but we've actually added a lot of additional detail to the individual areas that we have on the board. So on the blueprint area, you can see sort of the outlines of houses individually, which is, something we really wanted to sort of grow a lot more. You'll also see a lot more weathering and detail that's been worked in as part of sort of our overall board design. In addition to that, we've also made sure that each area specifically has the word area on it. So previously, for example, the downtown didn't have area written on it, and it was just something that was to do with wider communications around the cards. If there was a situation that affected an entire area, we wanted to be really clear to you what an area was, and that one of those areas followed the sort of 4 major sections that worked their way through the game. So those are the major updates as regards sort of the physical content, what's changed, what's been updated, and your feedback is very, very important to us, so we would like to know about that. The next video you'll see is going to be around sort of the breaking news and the fallout from that, and all the story and events that take place over that. So catch us for that video shortly. Thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you later.